Hello, and welcome to the Gers TV. It's a live weekly show. My name's Si Leslie.
And I'm Gordon Bond.
Right, guys, first of all, just double check my volumes here. It feels perfect, guys. Sandra has sent us a message tonight. She's not going to make it. It's a last minute thing. But it's her birthday today, so just want to wish Sandra a happy birthday. And
Happy birthday, Sandra.
let her know we're all thinking about her. If you got her on Facebook, send her a wee message, guys. Sandra's birthday tonight. So I've got Gordon here tonight. And we're
Can't believe Sandra's only 35.
Again, aye. We're going to talk all things Rangers. Before we start, can you get everybody to share as many people as possible? The more people share it, the easier it is for us at the end of the show. And a big shout out to our sponsor. Our weekly sponsor is AG Roofing and Cladding.
AG Roofing and Cladding. Thanks very much for your support, guys. Much appreciated.
Any roofing or cladding you want done, AG Roofing and Cladding. There they are with the orange badge. New label for them, and I think that looks a lot better. Guys, loads and loads to talk about.
As always.
With Rangers, it seems to be a high and then a low. Constantly it's hard to do that because it's reverse. Where do you start with this? We'll start. We've got the European game to speak about coming up. Red Star Belgrade.
Big game.
We have the Aberdeen game. Was it Aberdeen we played at the weekend? That wasn't it. It was Motherwell.
So, say that again, Si.
Motherwell played at the weekend.
What are you talking about? We played Aberdeen.
Aberdeen, mate. Aye, Aberdeen.
You can tell Gers TV is a professional show.
Trying to remember what's happening.
We have managed to do our research, and together between us, we have managed to establish that Rangers played Aberdeen at the weekend.
Right. And we won 1-0. Roof scoring in the last couple of minutes of the game and a few minutes added on. Got it, remember now, right?
Excellent.
Perfect. And I've just found where I stashed the whiskey in the outlet. We'll try to find that in the right. As well as that, the build up to the European time, we've got the big news, as we all know, well, not the big news, but the big story that came out of Rangers was the game over, the tournament over in Sydney.
Australia.
Australia. We've done a video on that, we've done your live feed with Australian Rangers fans.
Seems to be that I've never actually said for a long time, it's hard to remember a time when the Rangers fans were so united on the one issue, to be perfectly honest with you.
Not just online, offline as well.
Offline, at the game, in the pubs, online, offline, etc. Everyone seems to be against it. Let us know your opinion on it still if you haven't already, and let's hope Rangers actually sit up and take notice from the supporters' point of view.
Aye. As well as that, the Union Bears' fantastic display for the 150th anniversary, and I think we should talk about that for a wee bit as well.
Yeah.
Before we start, a few comments.
Yeah, so let's just go up. So hi to our usual followers, Dora, Marion as well, Marion Poirier, Mark Dunnett, Joel Jackson. Hi, good to see you guys. Lima, I don't know where you're from. I don't actually know where Lima Vadi is. Do you know where that is, Si?
Limavady, I go in basically, it's beside Coleraine in Northern Ireland.
All right, okay. Well.
In between, it's probably closer to Londonderry. And it's got a Rangers supporters club there. It's fantastic.
Okay, isn't it handy sitting next to Google Maps?
Listen, anything you want to know about pubs and getting boozed up and anything like that, I'm your man.
All the best for Portugal, Leslie Laird. Whereabouts Portugal are you, Leslie? Let us know.
He's been on a few times.
Ian McIntyre, Stephen McCormick, Frank Barrett. Hello.
That's a good point as well. Stephen McCormick's mentioned this a few times to me on the text message this week. The SNP, Stephen, what I'll do is I'll maybe get you caught in a bit often if you can. That'd be better because I know you know a lot more about it. But basically, the ministers in the Parliament were asked to do a motion to congratulate Rangers Football Club on being 150 years old. Nicola Sturgeon and I think everyone at the SNP, none of them agreed to do it. And you know more about politics than I do.
Yeah, is it surprising? I'll just give you an example. There's the SNP come out today, and even with everything around the world, they're still advocating independence and scrapping Trident, the only thing that's probably keeping us safe right now. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, we'll do a politics show at some point soon, I'm sure, especially with the council elections coming up.
Yeah.
And not too distant future, so we can get to that. And Stephen, if you want to come on the show, or even give us a big call in when we do a show about politics, you seem to be quite aware of what's going on, so please do. And
a wee reminder, we do have a Patreon site where you can support us by donating £2 or £3 per week. Per month, sorry. We can do it. We don't ask for weekly, although it's because I'm multitasking here. Sanders not here, I'm multitasking. You get this picture. It's a picture,
look at that picture of Bill Struth.
The great Bill Struth in his military days, based at Bellehouston
Park, Glasgow.
In case you're wondering why twos are coughing, Gordon phoned me an hour ago to say I'm feeling no well. And I was about to tell him, I'm no well so too, I've got the lurgy, but don't worry, it's not the dodgy one, it's the common cold.
It's common cold.
We again.
Life goes on, there's people in the world in much worse situations than us at the moment, so...
We've had no bad response for the Patreon so far, Gordon, have we?
Yeah, so, it's been great, it's been good, it's good to know our supporters are out there.
And all you do basically, you hit the link and that gets you on to the page, and after that, once you've joined us, you get, after a month, you get the Bilsoo picture sent out, and any events or anything that we're involved in, you'll get the first shout for it.
Yeah, we've got some fantastic events coming up as well, and some fantastic promotions involved in the Gers TV. So, as Simon says, if you join the Patreon site, support us, you can be part of the show, and on top of that as well, you'll get first opportunity to get tickets for a
couple more shout-outs.
Exclusive.
Ian Taylor from the Rangers supporters branch in London.
How you doing, Ian?
Derek Ogle.
East Belfast.
East Belfast. My good loyalist family, I know them well. And as well as that, Stephen McCormack's just mentioned that. That's a, rather than me listing him out, Gordon Ray or SNP.
Aye, so James Dorland's kind of well known for this. John Mason as well. John Mason is very well known for his anti-Rangers views.
Yeah.
Patrick Harvey's in the Greens. Patrick Harvey's like they call it the co-convener, which is basically just the guy in charge of the Greens. No surprise in there, and kind of usual subjects there. So. The kind of most well known, probably the ones that sticks out for the Rangers fans is probably John Mason. He also said, that was the guy that also said that, and he also said that disabled fans shouldn't be allowed at football as well.
And he won't support anything that's orange. If you're in this constituency, he won't support anything that involves orange order. Yeah. So that's it, guys. We've told you before what to do, guys. We can't tell anybody who to vote for or what to vote for.
Never do it.
But these are the people who despise our club, so make up your own mind that the ballots. Donna Robertson saying a wee drop of whiskey will sort you out, both out.
Donna, don't say that. Don't say that to us, Donna.
Nah, you're probably right.
It'll either make it or break it.
So that's us, guys. As a wee reminder, the sponsor AG Roofing and Cladding. That's our new sponsor. Our new logo there. Change the graphics a wee bit, and we're just trying to make the show better every week. A big shout out to Sarah Wallace. She starts her new job this week. I know she's next week. She's done a lot of work this week to get it and a lot of preparation to get the job.
Congratulations,
well done,
Sarah.
Well done. It's always nice if somebody says well done because she'll smash it.
Yeah. And got a new job. That means you can subscribe to the Patreon site as well. There we go.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Send in gifts and all that for us.
I know. So hi to James Gales as well. A hot toddy for your cough. A couple of people saying that we might have to have. Might have to have a double measure for that. Whiskey of the month later on.
Aye, might have to do that. Right, so let's start. Rangers versus Aberdeen at the weekend.
So
what we've got is we do the video.
We'll do the video and we'll kind of talk during it. We are going to show you and we say this in inverted commas, the highlights for the game against Aberdeen. It wasn't a particularly great game.
This is a new thing we're going to try and do. It might not work, so if it's garbage, you don't like it, just put the thumbs down at the end and tell us. However, I think you will like this. Rather than playing a video with a song on it, because they keep singing the song, they keep muting the song halfway through and banning us. I can't put them in mod classics on. Maybe Borges with them on anyway. So you got this wee idea instead. Let us know what you think of this, guys. Right, I'll make this bigger, right, Gordy, you need to watch a bit better eyesight. I'm getting glasses this week, by the way, so pseudo mode will make that bigger for us. So as you can see, guys,
we're going to show you the highlights right now. It wasn't, I'm sure you'll agree, it wasn't a particularly great game, and it looks as if it was going to finish a 0-0.
I think people, my biggest worry is we're a bit overcritical. I think the Rangers team just now, I just think they're a bit nervous. I think that's the biggest problem they've got. They look terrified to shoot at times, and they seem to want to walk the ball in the net. It's been a mistake for a long time. The nerves are the big one for me. They do. As well as that, Morelos had a bad game, only in my opinion. And when Morelos has a bad game, Rangers tend to have a bad game. Although you see that he's unlucky with that shot, he never hides. That's the one thing from him.
I don't think we haven't really got any reason to be excuse me, nervous. We've scored, a lot of goals against Dortmund. We played Dortmund off the park.
I know that. I might be wrong. I just feel as if at times.
I think at home with the expectations as well. I think sometimes it's strange because that's much my opinion here. But sometimes when it seems easier to shoot, they try and walk the ball into the net.
That one more step.
And then sometimes when it seems easier to walk the ball in the net, that's when they try and that's when they shoot from a real odd angle. So
I mean, from Aberdeen's point of view, I don't think they looked at any point really dangerous against us. And as you see, Rangers were attacking for there was almost an onslaught, but very few chances looked dangerous. That was the biggest problem I had.
Yeah, there wasn't really a lot of clear cut chances.
That one was never an own goal there.
Yeah.
Seen you watch it again.
Yeah, I remember obviously we had that game against the Post.
So I sat in the main stand, so I've just found out I need to get glasses, so I hope you like guys with glasses, ladies, because I'll be specky sometimes, so I can see a better view from them. But as I said, Rangers, the whole game Rangers attacked, they never sat back. We were all frustrated and we were all wanting changes. I think you could argue that the manager should have made subs quicker. Well, I would argue he should have made subs quicker. My biggest problem with the Rangers team just now, I think, were corner kicks that we take. Offensive.
Not only that, but
terrible.
defending as well.
Defending was bad, but see when you watched how many corners the Rangers get, I think they must have had about 10 in that game. Never looked like scoring many of them at all. Most of them is a similar ball we do, and it doesn't beat the first man. I get the fact that maybe when Hollander comes back in with a taller player, it'll benefit us. But if you look here, this is Rangers day, when your shots like that get well over the bar. I know a lot of the fans weren't happy with the referee performance either, but
There was, again, I know we talked about Liverpool in the face on this show.
But you kind of get that used to it. You don't want to keep talking about it. However,
Yeah.
was again. I thought it wasn't the best of refereeing, and there was at least one penalty incident I thought for Rangers where it was a pass back. Sorry, wasn't it? I'm not sure what the rule would be with that. If it's the pass back's an indirect free kick, innit?
Yeah, indirect free
Aye,
kick. Yeah.
and that was. I'm sure it was Bates passed the ball back to the goalkeeper, and he clearly picked the ball up.
Oh, it was blatant.
But it was like 4 foot out or something like that. So you would have been as good as a penalty. We never got that, and we never protested it. Again, the Rangers management never seemed to be that angry about it. That's a downfall for us, in my opinion. But if you look at Rangers, they never stopped the whole game. That was one thing I did like, because I was going to see a concert, and I was trying to get away right on the final whistle. And at this point, I'm thinking the final whistle, it could be nothing each. I was getting a bit angry. The shots were coming in always, but it just seems to be the new that we're playing great football at times, but we just can't score. Although at the weekend, I don't think the football was as great as the last couple of weeks. I just think if we can get a wee bit of luck and start scoring, we'll be fine. If we can get that wee bit of luck. But was it 44 minutes we scored the winner?
No, it wasn't 44, it was in the second half. That looked like a handball to me.
Aye, that was a handball one. When I say 44, I mean the second half. 89 minutes, I think it was, they scored. You'll see
it was about 82, 83 minutes.
Was it? You'll see it in a minute. It comes up. You see the goal here, so you watch Passy, who's outstanding in that position.
Great skill by Kamara. Absolutely fantastic by Kamara here.
Well, and there you go, and of course the media's trying to tell you that was an offside goal, or was it? No, it wasn't an offside goal, it was a belter. Just before it, the fans were upset with bringing Morelos off. I don't think they'd done an issue with Rufkin, I don't think so anyway, and I think it proved to be the right decision.
Well, in the end it was vindicated, so that's when the manager makes a big calls.
Standing forward decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I tell you what a relief getting that goal.
Great play by Kamara, three shimmies off the ball, great ball in. Tavernier and then Bruce there on the spot. Kind of doing what Morelos and Sakala failed to do for the match, just getting in between, making it difficult for the defenders.
I think Morelos basically just had a bad game. He can't always have a good game.
What kind of annoyed me was that, again, once we got the goal, we kind of, for the last kind of 5 minutes or so, we did kind of invite some pressure. We hadn't had any pressure the whole game, and then 5 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go. We kind of sit back and invite some pressure on, which we seem to do quite a lot when we score a goal.
And it is hard to watch at times when it's minutes to go, because we seem to be, whereas a lot across the city seem to be able to score with minutes to go, we seem to be the opposite.
Yeah.
So give me a wee second, I'll just swap this round.
So let us know what you thought of that video, guys, if you could hear it, etc. as well. So just something, we're obviously trying new things every week to try and get the right formula. So let us know what you thought of that.
Right, so that's back us today.
Gary Dixon's asking what were thoughts on the game on Thursday, the European game. We're just going to get
cover that.
We're going to get to that shortly. So hang your fire, Gary.
So a couple of things. I think I'm going to go to two games in the two games because obviously there's a couple of things that happened at the Livingston game. The refereeing, I've said it for weeks, it's certainly not getting any better. There was contentious decisions at the Celtic game where a referee overruled the linesman and the fourth official.
Yeah.
It's quite embarrassing, I think, in my opinion. But anyway, when I watched the Rangers game at the weekend, I just thought the referee was garbage, just in general. However, Rangers weren't at their best, so I had bigger things to worry about than the referee. Our defence looked a wee bit better, though. When we play Aberdeen, we don't seem to realise that these teams hate us. We seem to be surprised a wee bit. We're playing them that they're going to come out and play. This is a bit Aberdeen play but 4 games a season, I've getting a cup game 5.
Yeah.
We're still surprised at that. Our team seems surprised at that, and I don't get that. Surely they know that they're going to do everything they can to try and stop Rangers.
Yeah, they only show up. I mean, they're 10th in the league.
Yep.
If St Johnstone and Dundee weren't so bad, they might be in danger of falling into the playoffs and getting relegated. That's how bad they are. But when they play us, you would think you would think
They're cheating on fans, you could say.
It's really a bit embarrassing, but it just goes to show, we have to be at our best every week. And see, at the end of the day, we didn't create a lot of clear cut chances. Did seem a bit nervous to shoot, but see, at the end of the day, if we win the league, we won't look back and say, "Oh, we only had 3 shots
No,
on
of course.
target."
You wouldn't remember how bad the game was.
Yeah.
So a couple of points I want to make on the game, or one main point. I'm not really sure my opinion on it anymore. Aaron Ramsey. How long do we wait before he gets a game? I know there's the story now that he's brought his own guys here. He spent £30,000 his own money to get himself fit, but then he doesn't even come on for 5 minutes. I'm worried that does Gio think he's not worth the money and it's too big a risk. Hopefully I'm proved wrong with that. The only way, in my opinion, if to get a guy match fit is giving him match time. And I understand in the game at the weekend, you could say that it wasn't the best game to bring him back at, because Aberdeen would have kicked hell out of him and he'd get injured again. However, he's this big money signing, big signing, sorry, it's not big money. Well, we don't pay much yet, but he's a big signing for us.
Yeah.
Now, the Celtic signings he done in January have all hit the ground running, or most of them, and have got their vital points. We brought him back again into the team and he's not played. What's the story there? I don't know, but we need to be playing Ramsey soon, or it's been a bad move.
I mean, we signed him in January. That's the whole of February. Well, first week of March it's coming going. It's getting to the stage now where we're only going to got 8 games left. Is he going to play?
Is he going to play a full game?
Is he going to play a full game for us? Was it a signing? Was it a sop to the fans, or did they actually think he was going to play, or was it a reputational boost, or was it a morale boost?
I'm hoping it proves me wrong, because well, we're going to talk about Europe in a minute, and there could be quite a lot of games still to come up, as well as the league games. But he needs to start playing. Simple as that. If he's not playing games, he's never going to be match fit. And if he's no match fit, that was a wasted signing.
If he's not match fit, why he's on the bench?
Again, I get that. And would the people class as match fit now? Because some people say to me, you can be match fit if you play half a game. To me, match fit means you're fit to play a full match at your proper level.
Well, some of our players are starting to look tired, and we had noticed up until Saturday there that the manager did seem to think that making substitutions wasn't a great thing.
Aye. So does that mean he's not? That's what I'm worried about. Does Gio not trust the players that he's got on the bench? I get that, no, his players understand that. However, he's took the job on. He's got to take the responsibility of using the subs. Rangers voted for a 5. We're one of the teams that voted for the 5 subs till the end of the season, and we're one of the only teams that doesn't use it. So it's not going to our advantage. Hopefully Ramsey can prove his wrong, and hopefully he can get himself fit. But I'm starting to get my doubts. What's your thoughts on that?
You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, it stands to reason if a guy only plays, a couple of games in a couple of years, then there's obviously issues there. We've signed him. He must have went through a medical. He must have showed that he has some decent level of fitness, like maybe don't know some underlying fitness.
My brother Mark, sorry for interrupting. My brother Mark pointed out that his injury that he got was a calf injury. And it was a calf injury that he could get at any time of your career. So that might be, I might be wrong when I'm saying he shouldn't have been out again. Sorry about.
No, sorry. Again, the time will tell, but we're starting to run out of time. There was a lot of games in February, a lot of European, there was European games, cup games, league games in February. There's only 8 games this season to go. He's not got a lot of time to show us what he can do. Yeah.
So hopefully he comes back. There's an old Scottish saying, do a job or get off the potty. Simple as that. So hopefully he gets off the potty.
Never heard that in my life.
Do your job or get off the potty. So you need to do one.
Can't
just sit in the potty if you're anyway. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Hopefully we get to see the best.
Marianne Buckins there saying Ramsey's a waste up to now. It's hard to disagree with that. I think he's come on and I think he's only played, I don't know what total of minutes he's played, probably played about 40 minutes in total.
But to be fair, if he's spending £30,000 to bring his own medical team over, he cares.
Yeah.
So
However, the other side of the coin is surely a club like Rangers should have a fantastic medical department.
that's apparently well, I don't want to say the infighting, but apparently the story I've read on some Rangers sites says that the club's not happy. The club's medical team feel exactly what you're saying. It's a bit of yin and yang there because these guys have looked after him all his career. He
Saying
rates him,
that-
and he's wanting to bring them up. He's wanting to bring them over at his own expense. So
Which is fine. I mean, the medical team at Ibrox have to look after the whole squad. So if he wants to spend his own money on individual fitness, I mean, there's no difference between somebody going, NHS, somebody going private. If he's paying for it and it's not costing the club, and it's showing to us how much he cares, then
it's maybe a wee bit as well. You could argue when a player goes and trains after training.
yeah.
He's maybe just trying everything he can. So I don't think
Yeah.
it's a bad thing, but I don't know enough about the medical side yet.
Time will tell. But as I say, we're starting to run out of that. Frank Barrett's saying that players been brought in that he doesn't know too much about. So we're talking about guys like Sands and Diallo and Ramsey, plus the Polish boy at right back, Sorowski. I think that's been a long time since I've seen his name, so I believe that's how you pronounce his surname.
Marius,
Please
aye.
correct me if wrong. Yeah, again, you would like to think that it was, when Gio took the job, there was plenty of time between then and transfer window, so there was, and we didn't actually, we had plenty of time the whole of January at least. So you'd like to think that there are conversations going on between the management and the sporting director to see who we can bring in. But it's a strange one with bringing in his own medical team. It's not a major kind of confidence boost in the Rangers medical team, and the fact that we are getting a lot of injuries as well.
Yeah. Right, so let's go to the display in the last week of what's happened with Rangers
Yep.
before we move on. I take no pleasure whatsoever in saying this, but if anybody wants, I can find the videos and show you. Over 2 years ago, I done a show on Gers TV saying, and I'll quote myself, when the 150th anniversary comes up and Rangers balls it up, when the club balls it up, what will the fans do? Because the club will balls it up. And in my opinion, they didn't let us down, they balls it up again. They had a fans village, there was a couple of snack bars, Marvin Andrews singing, and and most of the people I met at the game didn't even know that happened. The Union Bears, however, won the day over because their display was outstanding. The display was one of the best I've seen ever at a football match. It made me proud
Yeah.
to be a Rangers supporter, and I know they were almost going to pull it because of the incident.
I'm glad obviously they came out with a statement a couple of days before the game. I'm very, very glad and grateful they didn't pull it. It was absolutely fantastic to see it.
Yeah.
And where I was sitting, kind of seeing it in all its glory. So it was absolutely fantastic. So big shout out and well done to them for doing it.
I seen a thread and follow. I've not been able to go back on it, but anyway, as I said, I campaigned. I've done about 4 or 5 shows over the last 2 years, telling people that the club will balls it up. They balls everything up. They balls up the Sam English campaign that we done, the Bill Struth one. They're famous for doing it. There's people that work for the club that take a wage and don't really care. They don't understand the history. So let me get to the point on this. First of all, a couple of issues. Somebody mentioned a follow. What would you have had better? I would have had legends there. I'd have had as many of the old players there as possible. For anywhere in the world, bring them back to Glasgow for that big game and have them on the park at half time. That's the first thing I would have done. I would have had a brilliant video made up. They made a video with a rap song on it and put it on YouTube, Facebook. Absolute rubbish. I'd had more entertainment at half time. I would have had the villages that the village that had the 3 stalls or whatever would have been all over the stadium. I would have had a play being written by this time to celebrate the club. I would have another online video like the old follow updating the history of the club. I would have done something with the founders. Now remember, you have to call it out when the club get things wrong. They told the fans to buy a white founders jersey, and it was going to be worn on this game. People will buy the jersey for their kids, their grandkids. I bought it with my wee grandson, and they turned up to the game, and Rangers were blue.
I know. It was quite strange to notice that. It was the first thing I noticed it when they came out. It was like I thought the big thing was supposed to be they're wearing this,
They're gonna wear this.
But just going back to what you were saying about the things they should have done, it seemed to me that there was more effort put into the Christmas advert video trying to get us to part the money for Rangers than there was anything we did for this game, which is a shame.
I mean,
It's
there's
such
so
a
many
shame.
things they could have done, right? I'm only listing things quickly. And then you've also got the shambles of the game over in Sydney. The club still don't seem to understand that they've got it wrong. After the outcry on it, you think, right, what's happened? There's a massive outcry. The fans are not happy. The people who stay in Australia are not happy. The worldwide fan base doesn't seem happy. The guys in the bars don't seem happy. the Union Bears are talking about cancelling their display. All the websites I've seen, every website I've seen, and Rangers bring another they bring out the boy Bygroves again to basically tell us that we're all wrong and he's right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's coming down to the fact that they're putting a little bit of money over the feelings of the fans, and
Yeah.
it certainly devalues the relationship between the club and the fans.
Of course.
Any club and any set of fans should always have a fantastic relationship.
The way the Germans see about Bayern Munich, for an example, treat their support.
Yeah, I mean, all the German clubs, to be fair, and even some of the Italian clubs as well. You've got a club like Roma, for example, who run out and pass their ultras first, really, and they've got a good relationship with them. It just seems very, very strange. And we were praised, and after when we signed Ramsey, we were praising him to the high heavens, the guys behind the scenes, for pulling off what seemed at the time like a massive coup.
Which was true.
But now, again, it just seems back to kind of square one with the relationship between the fans and the club.
It's as if they don't want to listen. For an example, a lot of the people I spoke to, I went to one of there was 3 events on at the weekend, the managers' dinners, and I went to that, and everybody I spoke to was disgusted at the club's antics for doing that, for no listening to the fans, for their reaction. Another thing that I found a lot of people were saying was they feel, and I agree with this, that the club are doing everything they can to get rid of Rangers supporters clubs. They don't want fans to have any voice whatsoever. It's quite concerning. You've also got Dave King then coming out. Now, we've had people coming on telling it, we've had fans coming on the show saying they think Dave King is in the wrong in the last couple of months, and some fans think he's in the right. I'm slowly starting to think he may be a wee bit in the right, because he's came out and said he would not have accepted that that tournament to take place, and I do believe that, and I do think he would have fought for us more PR wise. So.
See, it's easy to say these things when you're trying to get on people's
side, though. I get that. However, apparently, and if I'm wrong with this, fine, I'm 99% sure I'm right. Last week, when he came to Ibrox, he was denied access to the director's box and had to sit in bar 72 to watch the match. If that's the case, I don't think that's right. There's one thing the club really don't need to do is infighting, and they shouldn't be treating a guy like Dave King, the former chairman, like that, in my opinion.
No,
I don't think it's right.
You know, you take what you want from maybe the arguments they're having between themselves, whatever. But you can't. It just seems a bit
personal
and petty for them to do that. But we're not in charge. But
remember, this is on the week of the 150th anniversary celebrations. It doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good. It doesn't look good that they seem to be putting, you know, a little bit of commercial. You know, I don't even know how much they're going to get paid for it, but I wouldn't have thought a massive amount. But maybe they value that more than the voice of the fans.
Yep, that's the biggest thing. See when football just becomes about money and nothing else, what's the point? I mean, my brother Scott's been saying to me for months now, can Rangers not just do one thing? The 150th anniversary, can they not just do one thing, one single thing that doesn't mean, oh, we'll make plenty of money out of it? It's 150th anniversary, I mean, at £10 for a programme. People buy programmes for their kids and things like that. If you buy it online, it's £12. Disgusting. Can Rangers not just say, for even once in our lifetime, just say, we want to thank the fans and we're doing this because it's a good idea? No, because we're going to make money.
And if you look at the amount of stuff Custodi's brought out that, you know, celebrates this with Rangers. Now, I'm all for Rangers making money. I'm all for merchandising.
Yep.
But at the same time, there has to be a kind of breaking point where you say, you know what, you know, we've done enough.
100%. One of the good things is a supporters association. I don't know enough about this, but if anybody's a member of one of the clubs that's joined, the Rangers Supporters Association have started growing, and Rangers supporters clubs are joining it so they can get a voice on the board. Not maybe have a voice on the board, but a voice at the board, and join together. So the more clubs that join it and the more members, the stronger they'll be. So I definitely support that. Like I used to support the Rangers Supporters Trust. I just feel that the longer we all look back at the club gets saved and Dave King guys and the Blue Knights, but that's gone. This is almost a new board that's in now, and a lot of the things that they value in life, I don't value whatsoever, and a lot of the things that the support value, they don't even understand it exists.
I don't. You know what? I mean, they've done. I think overall they've done a decent job in the last couple of years. I think they supported Gerrard when he came over. But you know, we've not sold. We sold Patterson, but we haven't sold the massive amount of players. We've kept most of our squad intact, so they aren't doing a terrible job by any means. But
Fair comment, yep.
But that said, they have to have more of a relationship with the fans. There has to be some. I don't know if there's, you know, who the liaison officers are, to be perfectly honest, but you know, is there a go between the board and the fans at the moment, and what's that person saying?
Well, it's supposed to be the SLO, but he doesn't reply to any emails. He's going to reply to. I remember what
That's right. Aye.
the Livingston game, and he was going to reply to the treatment the Rangers support. That was
You
like
you
4
can't. You
months ago.
can't.
He's not replied.
I mean, the board have got responsibility to make sure that Rangers are a commercial success.
100%.
That is their remit, and that's their bottom
So here's
line.
my argument, right?
But just 1 second.
Yep.
But at the same time, they won't do that without the support of the supporters.
I get that. So here's my argument, right? And I'm not speaking for anybody else but myself here. If the board turned around and said, look, we got it wrong. We're sorry, we got it wrong. We thought it was a great idea to go to Sydney. We made a mistake and it's going to cost us £500,000 allegedly to get out of it. We're sorry. We're going to host a tournament in the summer. We're going to get a couple of teams, and I'm only quickly picking teams out. I'm not saying it's going to be 8 teams. Hamburg, Linfield, Arsenal, teams like that have got an association with Rangers, Chelsea, whatever. 4 teams like they used to do in the 80s and 90s. It's a glamour tournament. We're asking the fans to pay £60 a ticket. It's a bit more money than we should be asking. However, we need to make the 500,000 back, and we're trying to make some money for the club.
No, Castore would probably bring a celebration strip for it, so you make money back that way.
Aye. And I done one last week, 2 weeks ago as well. One that we'll never wear as well, a different one. I think if they'd done that, the fans would accept it. I think the fans would say, look, we're angry at you, you've acknowledged who we are, and we want to go to a game at Ibrox, or even a tournament somewhere in the world that involve clubs like that, that Rangers got the money. I think the fans would back that 100%. But right now, I mean, this is the next thing we've got, right? And I've spoken about this for day one. I've said that Rangers would balls it up, and they have. A glamour friendly we're having with old men who don't play football anymore. They stopped playing football 15 years ago. That's not a game of football. That's an exhibition of a. I don't even know how you'd explain it, but who wants to turn up to watch old guys who don't play football anymore running about kidding on they love Rangers? Because they're only invited for the money, and then to invite an ex-Celtic player along. As one of the guests is an ex-Celtic player to bring along. These people are so far away from the Rangers support, it's incredible. Why not have a glamour tournament? Like I've said, players who actually play football week in, week out, established clubs, recognise how great the 150th anniversary is, tell the world how great it is. Don't rely on the Union Bears, don't rely on the fans. The club to go out and say, do you know what, this is who the Glasgow Rangers are, we want the world to know it. No playing old men that used to play football years ago, and no bringing in gimmicks and all this stuff. Do it properly or don't do it at all.
Personally speaking, Rangers TV should have got together with a company like Netflix and put something out.
Yep.
You know, something that celebrates, celebrates the club. And yeah, we're not talking about, having them all singing all the, so-called sectarian songs, whatever, and that. Have a documentary about the club, a documentary about Rangers 150 years. You put it on something like Netflix.
See, one of the guys
that worldwide exposure. Look, just one question. Me and my mate were watching the Dortmund highlights a couple of weeks ago, and that had 1.2 million. Even at that point, even a day after it or something, 2 days after it, 1.2 million people had watched that. Now
that's the way to market the club.
Aye, if Rangers had put together a little documentary, half an hour, 150 years. I'm sure STV, BBC Scotland would have.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you. I can't say too much on it now, but I'm waiting on some word back on it. But one of the guys involved in the Netflix, I'm sure it was, or whoever does the football documentaries, one of the guys, a Rangers man.
Yeah.
So they have been approached. They said no.
They were approached about a whole. I think last season, if my memory serves correct, they were approached about a whole season documentary. So I don't know if you've seen the one about Sunderland. The one Martin Bain made him look a bit of a tosspot, to be perfectly honest. But maybe not a whole season, but it's 150 years. That something that would go out. The Netflix documentary would go out all over the world.
And tell the story, how proud we are, and the fans, and the fans that come from the world, the fans that the old fans, the supporters clubs, how many supporters bars and clubs have got in the world, and there's such a great story to be told, and yet it doesn't seem to why.
Maybe that's something for the Gers TV to do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm waiting the guy come back to his on that one, funny enough, a hard project enough. But Rangers' attitude to that, if I was to approach Rangers, they don't speak to us that much, but if we were to get in that, their attitude would be, or we could just bring another replica top out and take the money off the fans.
Yeah.
That's their attitude. They don't care about spreading the Rangers word all over the world. They care about how much money the fan can get. If a Rangers supporter's got £100 in their pocket, they want to know how to take £200 off them.
Yeah.
That's
I would
how
love
feel.
to see, there should be, obviously it's too late now for an official one or whatever, but I mean, you go on YouTube at any point and you type in Rangers or whatever, you can see the stuff that's put together by amateurs, and
Aye.
it's watched by millions. They're watched by millions, and the production values are actually pretty good on it.
Well, do you remember the play Follow?
Yeah.
The Rangers play. Why did they not update that? Because they've got more information than the Gallant Pioneers and things like that. Why did they not update and say we'll get a play? Now, before anybody jumps in and says rally around the Rangers, that's an independent play by Rangers fans, which incidentally I've heard is fantastic.
I think I'm actually going to see it.
Aye,
soon.
we're going to try and do something. I think Sandra had tickets for it, for us, as far as I know. Might not have them anymore, but I'll find out. But
Sure,
the
I'll get
original
tickets for
follow
September.
play, they should have brought something like that back. I'm telling you, see when that mob across the city at 150, you're all going to be kicking yourself going, everywhere we go, every minute of the day, for a whole year, you're going to get it kicked in your face.
Oh
And
yeah,
their club,
there'll be everything.
every one of the politicians that didn't want to do it for Rangers will be hosting events and everything. There'll be adverts on TV, they'll have plays, they'll have things on TV. And our club are doing a game of football with old men who used to play.
Which is just seems to be a money making exercise. We
And
know.
we'll charge the fans to get in to watch a game that's not going to be competitive.
What are you going to say to your kids, your grandkids? You're going to look back and you say 150th anniversary. What did we do? Or because Custody brought out 4 tops to fleeces,
And one of them wasn't even valid enough to play.
Aye, and there was a Legends game that, as personally speaking, I'm not totally against the Legends game, but that should be a part of a much bigger package.
I get that. If that was part of a package, it wouldn't be too bothered. But to call it a glamour tie, well, there's nothing glamorous about somebody that stopped playing football 20 years ago.
And you can see all the people that are in the Legends games, like your famous names, like Roberto Carlos or whoever.
Aye.
They can appear. They should be given a short kind of minute interview on the Netflix documentary, and that gets the interest for all over the world. I mean, it's not hard to put together.
It's no rocket science, and other clubs have done it. So how can we not do similar ideas?
Yeah, you imagine all the famous players of football over the last kind of 20 years.
All the ones that see how great Ibrox has been on.
Yeah,
the young boys
exactly.
and that, the Dortmund players. How did you enjoy the game the last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Just seems to me that we take the easy way out, and the easy way out is, can we get money off the fans? Aye, let's do it. Do the fans have an opinion? Aye, well, let's not hear them.
They want to. I mean, maybe I don't know how it could be, but they're worried about being controversial. They're worried about annoying sections of society, whatever. I don't know, but it's very, very strange that it's 150 years of the greatest club in the world, and the celebrations are only described as muted at the best.
Weak. I would call them weak.
Shall we see if there's any comments too?
Aye, there's loads of way to go back. It's a wee bit of a rant we've had, but you know what? We've tried to tell the fans for 2 years the club would make our balls up with this one, get it? They don't care. That's the problem that I've got. There's too many people employed by the club who do not care.
So Scott Ferguson, I'll try and read this out. Okay, I might have to paraphrase a little bit.
Start hearing.
Okay. So a couple of people saying up the top there that we should pull out the Australian trip. Again, whoever saying about Ange, that's just to scroll up a tiny bit. Frank
lives in Melbourne.
So yeah, it's a good point. That's somebody all the way from Melbourne. So John Gardner saying that we should pull out. Frank Barrett agreeing and saying because it was billed as the homecoming for Ange before anything else. So we are basically the way it was marketed in the first instance.
We're a stooge.
What a stooge to Ange homecoming, who is not a fantastic manager.
It's so embarrassing that people at Ibrox think it's a good move. John Gardner, I meant to talk about this a second ago. He said that that's a good point, because the Gers TV done a full show about this.
Yeah.
They won't even give us ground for a memorial for the 66. Now this Australian trip, which I think is a PR disaster, it's typical of our club, no listening to our supporters. John, you'll know probably a wee bit more about this than I do. However, they promised us they were going to do it last year. They promised the fans, and then they used the weakest excuse in the world, COVID. And then they said that it's going to be part of the Edmiston Club building plans. But everybody just to wait, because everybody's saying it's another anniversary that's came up for it, why is it not being done? And we were told COVID, and then we were told just wait for the plans for the Edmiston House, because there'll be a big proper monument for the 66. That might be the case, however, I've not heard a thing about it since then.
Once again, they're far more interested in opening corporate suites,
packages,
suites for packages, etc. Which again, I'm not against. Anything that makes a good money for the club is fine. I think the ordinary fans like myself are priced out a little bit. However, I'm not against that, but there should be at least the same amount of effort put into fan relationships and doing stuff that is significantly, linked to his historic past.
Yep. There's one. You might read that one out.
Yeah, it's Richard Murphy saying doesn't really care about the Celtic supporters. You couldn't agree more, to be honest. If it makes Rangers stronger to compete with European clubs, Hillsborough getting the same money as Celtic, then player reserves, I don't care.
The thing is...
So Richard, I don't know if I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong here, Richard Murphy, but your comment which you're entitled to make, you seem to be kind of in favour of the friendly, as long as we get some money for it. Again, perfectly entitled to your view, but
the story...
It seems to be a bit strange.
The story going about, we don't know if it's true, is Celtic's getting more money. That's one of the biggest gripes that the fans have got. But you need to remember what happened. So just to correct just to explain to people how it worked out. Rangers have been working on this for 4 weeks with Celtic. The fans don't like that, first of all. For 4 weeks, they've done nothing. The words were anniversary, 150th anniversary. They could be celebrating that and putting things on, and they've been meeting Celtic. For 4 weeks, they had to get the strip, the authorisation for the strip on Saturday, at the weekend, Saturday, and they couldn't get the strip because they apparently they never got permission and they never told the fans. They're too busy making deals with Celtic and these companies over in Australia, who are apparently, as Gordon said, marketing it as an Ange homecoming, and that's the whole strategy of the event. Now, a couple of other things on it. I don't know if you're aware of this. I done a video last week regarding it. The game is taking place in a stadium 25 kilometres outside the city, and there's one railway in and there's one railway out. So the fans are going to be mixing on the train in and train back, and anywhere like planes or anything else. I can guarantee you just now, any trouble whatsoever, Rangers Football Club will be all over the media, all over the world, and we'll get the blame.
Absolutely. Just before the comments, just read out a couple of scores tonight. We are aware it's Champions League night. So it's currently Bayern Munich 4, Salzburg 0, Liverpool 0, Inter 0, and Liverpool are 2-0 for the first leg, so they seem to be through. And in Scotland, a couple of big games in Scotland. It's currently Stenhousemuir 0, Kelty Hearts 0, and game of the night in the Scotland is Bucket Thistle 0, Queen of the South 0 at half time.
There you
go.
So
there you go. Gers TV keeps you up to date with everything that's going on in the world.
Right, I'll read this for you. Right, Scott
Thank
Ferguson.
you.
Rangers have become incredibly woke. It's as if they have used the events of 2012 to slowly but surely destroy our culture. If you go through the seasons, you'll see the alienation between the club and institution, that it always has been. There is extremely left-leaning and pay lip service at best to the fans, but the commercial manager is nothing more than a car salesman in a cheap suit. And Stuart Robertson, how is this weak-minded and weak-handed individual still at our club? Our values as Rangers Football Club are bigger than politicians that are rife throughout the club. Right, where am I here, Mr. List? But
right. Time to ask serious questions about the intention of the board, especially with the Aussie debacle only going to get worse. Any signs?
Everything Scott said in it, I agree with everything. That's.
I would agree. I don't want to use the word slightly, but I don't want to say completely either. I don't think the current board, have done a bad job as such. I think the commercial manager has done okay. We're certainly in a much better financial position than we were a few years ago. But again, recent decisions have put us a couple of steps back.
But I think most importantly, what he was talking about there was the fans.
The first part, yeah.
I think he's meaning that the relationship between the supporters.
Well, to be honest, that's been going on for 20, 30 years.
Aye, but you know what they told us when they got the new board, when the board came back in, that it's not going to happen again, and they're going to listen to the fans. And the fans are the only guarantee. The fans stood behind the club at all times. They filled out every ground in Scottish football. The fans have always been there, and the fans always will be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So some good points there.
Billy Anderson, if it wasn't for the Union Bears display on Saturday, Ibrox would have been a graveyard. A couple of old fireworks going off, daft screen outside. And that's supposed to be the 150th anniversary show.
Absolutely agree, Billy. Again, we're all kind of, I've seen loads of people in the anniversary strips. Again, if it wasn't for the Union Bears, you're absolutely right. The atmosphere would have been terrible. So again, shout out to them for doing that. And it's a good point.
Another thing was as well as that, when you look at it, everybody was expecting the club to do so many things, right? But we're talking about they put off a couple of fireworks on the screen outside. It's almost as if. Who cares? Do you know, it's almost as if just let's get this over and done with, because we can start making money again for the fans next
week.
week.
Always, we need to do something. What is the minimum we can do?
Aye. I mean, they could have found the oldest, like, for an example, I'd said a couple of years ago, they could have found any babies born this month who are like, family for Rangers supporter, gave them one season ticket. Sorry, no one season ticket, one share in the club, and the family would keep that forever. They could find
or a brick.
Or a brick. And they could have got the oldest Rangers supporter that they can find, or a wee group of them, and got them on the park. They could have had the oldest living Rangers player on the park. There's so many things they could have done. They done nothing. They done absolutely nothing. Yeah. Only thing he was missing was bringing Andy Cameron on to board as well. Right, hi Si, brought up a subject.
He's bringing up a different subject.
A subject here, sorry. This is Brian Taylor, it's my mate Brian Knight. What's your view on the new Champions League format? I'm against it as it requires 4 more games and no guarantee we don't need to get to include in the qualifying rounds. It's adding too much to our schedule, adding more financial price to our fans. And as for Sydney, put it this way, I ain't going, mate. Now Brian goes to just about every Rangers game there is, follows the club and gets lots of Rangers supporters tickets, does his bit for the club.
But the point about the
Champions League's a great point.
It's that's why they brought in. It's just all about money.
Money and nothing else.
The only thing is to satisfy the
bigger, maybe
TV
20 clubs
and the big clubs. It was done. I think it was done as a kind of stop to try and obviously remember a couple of years ago there was a talk about the breakaway and any Super League getting formed.
And that's a kind of status quo for the tournament.
So this was a way of just trying to raise more revenue, because at the end of the day, your clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona's, even most of your English clubs now, they're so used to getting a gravy train of hundreds of millions of pounds every season.
They expect
it. They just expect it. And again, money talks. The ordinary fans are getting priced out. I mean, there's a ticket. I mean, I don't know how much you paid, Si, but
45,
43, 45 quid for the game against Red Star.
Yeah.
Don't grudge it, because it's a quarter. It's the last 16 big game. Don't grudge it, but when it's put together with all the other games as well. Cost of season tickets, European games as well. I remember when I first got my season ticket, correct me if I'm wrong, you used to get European games free.
You definitely will. You get the League Cup games free, and you get the Scottish Cup games free.
You get the Cup games.
I think you get the first European game.
You get the first European game. It was a qualifier free.
Yep.
And you get the Cup games and the League games.
So I mean, a wee point on what Brian's saying here, right? So for anybody that doesn't know the history behind the Champions League, at the time the Rangers secretary Campbell Ogilvie, who not only was a great secretary and a great man, he was a great Rangers supporter. So that's probably why he doesn't work with Rangers anymore. He was a very intelligent man who understood the modern game and how to progress it. And he created a new format, and he sent the format to UEFA and FIFA, and it was called the Champions League. They took it on, made a few small changes to it, and just by chance Rangers happened to win their way into the group stages, the 2 group stages.
First group stage.
Sorry, there's two different groups.
Yeah.
And it was one of our best seasons. We should have won the actual championship or been in the final had we not been cheated by Marseille. However, after that, the English teams started becoming successful in the Champions League, and then UEFA realised we can make more money here by giving the bigger teams more games.
Yeah, I mean, the very fact that it's called the Champions League is a bit of a joke in the first place.
So what they then done was they called the Champions League a tournament, but you didn't have to be a champion. You didn't have to be second. In some of these countries you could be third or fourth. Hence why when you watch English football they say the big six. Oh, the big six is this and the big six is that. Football should be about the big one. Who's the champions? It should all be about winning and nothing else. And a Champions League where the champions of Scotland don't guarantee to get in the league, where 4th or 3rd in England get in other leagues. That's what it became. Now Brian's pointing out the new tournament is going to be worse. Basically, it's going to be even more games designed to give the bigger clubs even more money, and make it even harder for a club like Rangers to do well in it.
I think one of the big changes that happened, all around world football about 20 years ago was seedings as well.
Yeah.
So used to be obviously I don't remember it too much now because you're a tiny bit older side, but it used to be you put names in the hat and that was it. Right now, I mean, if you watch, I don't know if you remember, but at the start of the Champions League this season, the draw was an absolute catastrophe because Dutch teams can't play Dutch teams and English teams can't play English teams and teams from the same city can't play, and if you played them in the previous round you can't play them again, and there's so many rules to it. It's basically done to protect the Champions League. Is just kind of rigged almost for the first few rounds anyway. It's rigged so the big clubs get as far as possible to get as much money as possible.
that is only going to get worse, Brian. You tell us your opinion, mate. I'm going to open the phones in 5 minutes, but it's only going to get worse because the bigger teams are not going to. The bigger teams want to make more money. Linfield are getting beat, or are they winning 1-0? Sorry, 1-0 at Linfield. They're winning 1-0.
Excellent.
Somebody said that their feed flows. I think it's your own connection. No, it's not yours because there's nothing's happened here.
Yeah.
Frank Barrett. Now Frank's one in the Melbourne Rangers supporters club. He's saying also the endorsement of Scotland's version of Penn State by our club is marketed as a Glasgow derby and not the Old Firm. Obviously under instructions from separate entity. Frank, that was the point I was trying to make. I was actually getting mixed up because it was middle of a rant. They done it on the day, so they had made an agreement for 4 weeks. They made an agreement that we're going to go live with this. When the 4 weeks they could have done spending time to look after Rangers and 150th anniversary and our supporters. And then when they go to do it, Celtic jump in 3 days early. The reason they go in 3 days early is because they're all over every paper in Britain and they want this story covered. That's the people that we're dealing with. If anybody thinks that's fine and Rangers should be associated with that, then that's fine. I don't agree with you whatsoever. Rangers should be taking no part in those proceedings.
Absolutely. So we open the phone lines for the last part of the show. We're going to go on and talk about the game against Red Star in a couple of days' time. So we'll play a wee advert for the phone lines. I'll try and be quiet this time.
No, I don't know when I get it right, man. It says... Right.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We've got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. The Gers TV. Hit it.
And we're back. So if you're on the phone, all we need to do, guys, is give us your last 3 digits.
So what we mean by that is, if you're on the Facebook, obviously on the comment section, type in your last 3 digits, and then once the phone comes up, we'll have a look, and we'll correspond. Your last 3 digits to the phone number that comes in.
There we go.
And
Carol,
there's
right, I mean, that
Carol
was
for Southend.
Carol, how you doing, bro?
Hi, Carol.
Hello, Si. My missus says hello to Gordon because he's got lovely hair. Right, that's no talking to you again, Gordon. Si?
Yeah.
Do have lovely hair,
Congratulations.
Carol, she's spot on, Carol, to be perfectly honest. She's spot on.
Aye. No, I mean, your show was great on Friday, Si.
Oh,
Can
aye.
you hear me?
Aye, I'm hearing you, I'm listening, I'm agreeing with you, aye. Yeah.
Right. You can wear that badge with pride, son.
Yeah.
That big badge that you got on Friday. Wear it with pride, because that's all he can say to us. Because I've got no ammunition to come back with.
Yeah. I didn't want to make the video, do you know what? I felt I had to make it because the support were up and they were outraged. And you knew what was going to happen as the supporter rang and money's right.
I know, Si. Can I say something though about it?
Of course
you know
you can.
how people are saying it's terrible, but there is nothing we can do because of season tickets. Nobody's going to no buy their season ticket, because once you've sold it, you're never going to see one again.
Yep. No,
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, they are kind of, obviously loyalty's massive to Rangers fans, and I think you're right there, Carol. They rely on you as much as you might disagree. Who's going to get their season ticket?
Exactly. No, because years ago there wasn't as many season tickets, so if fans didn't show in a game,
Yeah, I get that.
But that's how it goes. But other thing,
Yep.
at least we've got a transportation strip to play with in Australia.
I know.
Aye,
There goes Si, she wants to hear the rest of the show.
Oh, aye.
Gordon, your hair is lovely. Is it a wig?
No, it's not a wig. It's definitely not. It's just. It's
It looks
just
like one of the old Beatles ones.
No.
One of the plastic ones you used to get.
the Gers TV. The Gers TV is going so well, mate. We've actually got a studio for hair and makeup now before
The
the
idea
show.
what you're on about.
Have your
But-
must get shut up, Gordon.
Carol, it's getting to the age in my life where I'm taking these compliments as good. So thanks very much, mate.
Is that for being Dustin, Si? Get the cobwebs away. Right, good night, lads.
Right,
Okay.
thanks, Carol. Great calls. Always see you later.
Right.
There you go. There's it. So there, I need to bring that in. You need to talk in it.
Okay, so we're going to have a wee discussion about the Red Star game coming up. So if you want to call in, the number's up the top of the screen there. It's just floating past now.
0141
Carry on.
01413195230.
So obviously we have beat the tournament favourites, Borussia Dortmund in the last round. Thursday night should be an absolute cracker of an atmosphere again. It's going to be a very, very big game, probably our biggest game. You know, it's probably worth, obviously, Champions League money for winning the league is really important. But again, if we get through this round, it's another £1.5 million. That's just in prize money, let alone the 50,000 people buying, you know, £45 tickets. So it's a
100%.
massive money maker, but also it's, you know, exposure, and it's a real chance for us to get through to the quarterfinals of a major European competition.
Just
again.
before I comment on that, Dylan McLeod, in case he loses, can we talk about Itten as his Rangers career done? Can we get it starting in the start 11 or the B squad? I don't think he's Rangers level. What I was going to say, Dylan, why not give us a wee call and we'll get a chat about that, mate.
Yeah.
Before I lose it. Right. The big game Thursday night. First of all, I think we need to understand that sometimes you think because we beat the Germans it's going to be easy.
Well,
I don't think it will be easy. They won 5-0, I believe, at the weekend.
the concern is that we don't play up, because it's basically like I hate saying this, but us playing against Dortmund is an equivalent of a smaller Scottish team playing us, where they raised a game against us. So my concern is, have we raised a game against Dortmund, shattered ourselves? That's why we didn't play great against Aberdeen. And is it going to be a bridge too far? Because we don't seem to have a lot of freshness in the squad right now. That said, it should be a game where we should be motivated and we should get that extra bit.
The other thing about it is, for some reason, we don't know the reason, but for some reason we do see we play a lot better in Europe.
Absolutely, yeah.
That just seems to be the case.
I think that's because
The style that we play.
the style we play, and the fact that, you know, teams and European teams do not spend an entire game defending every single second for their lives. European games, Dortmund do not spend, you know, 45 minutes
They
of each
wouldn't
half
know
camped in
it.
their own box.
Yeah.
That's what teams do at Ibrox. and
However,
away.
Red Star Belgrade won't be any mugs. The last time they played at Ibrox it was in the Champions League, I think, and they'd been a European Cup at the time. They were fantastic. They're nowhere near as good a team as that. They were no short of world class at the time. However, I think I didn't check all their stats. I think they've lost one game this season. It's not far off that. They've had a great record. They'll be coming to Ibrox quite confident as well. Remember, they're as far as us in the tournament.
Yeah, they'll see it as an opportunity for them to get in the quarter final, and we should see it as a chance for us to get.
I would rather the first leg was away, personally.
No, I don't think. See with the away goals now,
Yeah.
Simon. I personally speaking, I don't think it matters too much now with the away goals. But I think it gives us the home game first gives us a chance to put our mark on the tie.
That's a good point. What we really need is every Rangers player to be on form. We need Morelos to be 100% fit. There's another worry, and I never get a chance because I was running late today. There's a few Rangers players that are on the threshold of a suspension, I believe. So we need to make sure they
8 or 9. I don't know if that includes the Red Star team. I just seen the headline today, to be honest, and I didn't take a look into it. But the same players that were on the tightrope for us in the last round are still on the tightrope for this round, which I think it seems to be these European competitions seems to be weighted for a lot of the big teams. We've had to play an extra game, you know, to qualify for the last 16. We always got in the last 32. Your teams that have come for the Champions League, or whatever, or sorry, that won the groups, they go straight through to the last 16.
And
we had to play an extra game. So if we win this game, we can be at a disadvantage because we've had to play an extra game.
So
they
should
bookings. Yeah.
nullify the bookings and that, but aren't they? And that's another worry for them because we might play brilliant and then have some of our players out.
Exactly, we could easily have Morelos. You know, if Morelos could score in theory a hat trick on Thursday night, get booked, he's out the next leg, and we don't have a lot of threat up front to protect our lead.
Can Rangers win the tie? Can they win the game? I think yes to both of them.
Absolutely, we can.
We need to be on top form though. We need to. They're not taking the chances. They're taking an extra step. They want to walk the ball and no shoot. Can't happen. And we need to be solid in defence. See this ball that goes across them. Every team in Scotland knows it now. Go down the left hand side, the right hand side, cut the ball inside, and you've got McGregor doesn't move, Golson doesn't move, and the ball's in the net. That's so simple for every team to do against us. We can't let that happen. We need to be in top form. As well as that, we'll need to use all our subs as well. I think we need to give more players a chance because the players look exhausted. They look shattered on their feet.
Do we play? Have we got Ballaghan or Halander that can come into central defence? We played Bassey at left back. Who do we play up top? is Ramsey fit enough to start
Yeah,
or
or
play?
to make an impact even. I know, and
Yeah.
I'm a player that's massively missing. I know he gets criticised quite a lot, but Hadji in these games, I think he's outstanding in the European games, and he's a massive miss.
That's where Hadji plays his best games. Has played his best
Most
games.
suited. Anyway, I've done the toast, the poured the toast, I've got the whiskies, and it's
Yeah,
a wee
it's
toast.
great to see our Majesty back in good health after a COVID scare. And here's our toast to
The Queen, God save the Queen.
the Queen.
Oh, it's too that's a malt one. Ooh.
So there we go. We do it every week. So just paying our respects to Her Majesty.
You can talk for a minute.
I'm probably in the same situation as you, her side, to be honest. But a lot of people did comment and it might help with the cough, so I wasn't going to do it this week. But
Why don't you use a wee call? We're looking for people to phone in.
yeah, we're not going to be on for much longer. We're going to finish off a conversation about the Red Star game.
Yep.
Just before we do that, the B team are now that's been rescheduled for a week on Saturday. So not 100% sure this, but I don't know if the tickets are still valid. If you got a ticket for the original game, are they still valid? Can someone let us know? Because I was going to buy a couple more tickets today, but I don't know if the tickets are still valid. So if anyone's getting info on that, that'd be great.
The problem is if so many fans are just sickened by the way they've been treated by the Sydney thing, they've lost the momentum again. Every time there's a big momentum with the club, it seems to bring us back down.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just put a wee link up there again for our Patreon site. So guys, just a bit, obviously, Gers TV, we are growing and growing. We are trying different things, different formats. We are looking for people like yourself watching to get involved in the show. And you can go a massive way to help us is by joining our new Patreon site. It's £2 or £3 a month. It's not a lot. It's literally what 75p a week.
You get one of these
less
pictures.
than-
The late
and what-
great Bill Struth.
And what we'll do is we're going to send anyone that joins. We'll send out this exclusive picture. We're down to our last. Half of them are gone. We only got about 100 of them printed. Half of them are gone. So you'll get one of them sent out to you, and also you'll get the chance to appear on Gers TV. You can contribute to our website as
But
well.
half's gone, the tap half of the bottom off.
I think we need to get new script writers.
Anyway, it would be good if we get a wee call because we only had one call, Carol. If anybody wants to phone in, the number is above our head. It's 0141
Don't be shy, guys. It's your show. Let us know your thoughts.
319
Just getting back. If you
5230.
can join us and help us, we are looking to do more shows, more regular shows as well. And we would really love for more people to get involved. And the first shout out goes to our Patreon members. So the link's there. Please have a look,
Yeah.
check it out.
We've got a big dinner coming up in 3 weeks' time.
Get close.
And this will be a proper tribute to the 150th anniversary of a great club, and we hope to be running a lot more events. And every one of the events, a patron will also get the first opportunity to get the tickets or be involved, and you get a chance to come on the show anytime you want. Neil McWhinney, you beaten in yours, you joined 4 weeks ago. I sent the last batch out the other week. Yeah, I'll double check. I thought I sent you one out. If not, you'll get one sent out this week.
Okay,
mate.
Neil, we'll do that. We'll do that this week, mate. We thought everything's been sent out, so don't worry, you'll get that in the post. We might just double check. I think there was one Patreon member we didn't have their address.
Aye, it could be, but if no, I'll send you a personal message anyway. But I've got more. I've got to send my dinner. The dinner tickets are all getting posted tomorrow, so I'm going to do a post on them more anyway. So I'll get them out to you anyway.
So don't worry, Neil. We'll get that sorted for you. Just we'll send you a wee message after the show, mate. And just in case we haven't got your address, that could have been the issue.
Yeah.
We'll send you a message if you want. If you give us that, then we'll send it out.
And I'll get it posted to you for tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Other than that, guys, anybody want to phone? Geez, we're going to get another 4 minutes. We'll do another 10 past.
Aye, we'll do another call just to let us know, guys. None of it, we're both feeling a bit under the weather tonight, but we've got a lot of people who watch the show regularly, so we thought we would still come on and just do what we can. You can probably hear it in our voices and hear the coughing. Don't worry, it's just a cold. Nothing to worry about. But carry on, Si. I'm losing my.
Before the show started, you're like, I'm dying. I'm not well. Save me, get me a jag.
Listen, I've had Carol's wife tell me how good I look tonight. Come on, and I'm not feeling great. So he's a break.
Well, to be fair,
He's a break. So
that's
guys,
because you bought a drink in Bristol that time she was up.
What's your? I'm always buying
Predictions.
Drinks. I'm always buying drinks. Just don't always buy you drinks because you're ungrateful.
Post up your predictions. Let us know what you think the result will be on Thursday night. But if you can give us a wee call, it'd be good to get another call in. It's
What we'll do, guys, just for tonight,
319-5230.
just to be extra, what we'll do tonight. Give us your predictions for this. Give us your predictions for the game on Thursday night, and we'll do a wee Twitter competition over the next couple of days as well. And whoever predicts the right score, what we'll do for you is We'll get one of them sent out to you as a wee prize. Okay, so all the credits goes into a wee draw. We'll do the draw live, and all the winners and anyone who wins, the winner out all the correct scores. Sorry, well, we'll get a picture sent out to them as well. Okay, wee bit of fun for you.
We need to remember to do that then.
Okay, so a couple of
Joe, you'll get yours, mate. You need to be waiting for a month. I think you're due
Yeah.
one. You're due to get one. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to post mine out next week. So don't worry, I'll get it sent out to you, pal. Don't worry.
Absolutely, don't worry. Everybody absolutely will. Okay, just make sure what we say to people is that we will after a month, after the first month week, you get yours sent out. Okay, but we've got a lot of people have joined, and we've got some sent out, and we've got more batches to do this week and another batch to do next week.
So you'll get them. So don't worry.
So you'll absolutely get them.
Why not give us a wee call? There's plenty of people watching. Why give us a wee call? So 1413195230. Loads of predictions coming in. Men, keep sharing as well, because a lot of people like to watch the show after the show. And let us know.
Say that again, Si.
They like to watch the show after it.
You like to watch the show after the show?
Yes, Australians, Americans and guys like that. Another thing as well, we've obviously changed the format. We're having the big screen with the highlights on it. I think that's a bit better to talk through the games. I know, I'll get that sorted for you anyway. So any ideas that you've got, if you think we could do something different, let us know as well. If you think we're doing anything you could change, we're interested in that. And if you want to get involved with Gers TV, let us know as well. We're always looking for help.
Got a website as well, www. I think I said one too many W's.
www.thegers.tv.
Right, I think I meant to say.
Marion, tell Big Colin thanks for my calendar and GRRS
TB stickers.
Sticker. Cheers, Mucker made my day. So Big Boffy, my big pal Colin Morrison, does a lot for charity with the Mill and was it Mill and Iona Rain Supporters Club. And he sent Marion a calendar. It's a well-known calendar. It's called the Binman's View of Mill. And it went all over the world, the story he done for charity. So that was good of Boffy sending that here. Loads of predictions coming in. We've even got first goal scorers coming in here as well.
That's now. If it goes to a tie break, Mark, you win with the first. Everybody else gets the first goal.
Tommy's making a good point here. For anyone that's not sure, how can we get something done about the one and only Frank Connor? Frank Connor's a linesman who's caused a lot of controversy recently, mainly because he seems to miss events that happen with Celtic.
Is that the guy with the big shoe? No.
No.
Do you see that? No.
No.
There was a picture.
I did see it actually.
There was a picture done the rounds where you don't know how real it is, whatever, but it certainly looked really real enough to me. There was a linesman that seemed to have a shoe that fitted him, and then his right foot shoe seemed to be about 5 sizes too big. It looked a bit odd.
That's what you're talking about, because later on somebody said he couldn't find his dog, and I said that's Big Shoey Douglas. So anyway, he's not been.
That could be the end of the show.
It's been controversial because he seems to be. Well, the story's going about just now that he was a member apparently of the Celtic Supporters Club from, when was it? The story is going about on the internet for the last couple of days, Croy maybe. Anyway, somewhere like that. He's been a well-known Celtic fan, whatever. And it seems to be always on the wrong end of decisions for Rangers and no Celtic. Tommy, the only thing you can do about these things is we can highlight them when they happen, because the club won't do it. The club won't mention these decisions or anything like that. But you'd need to take it one weekly if an incident takes place, I think. If anybody wants to use a quick call, it'd be good to get one more call on 0141 319 5230. Shots, Celtic Sports, I knew it was one of them. I knew it was one of the clubs there. So it's been going, Tommy knows the story, obviously it's been doing the rounds for a few weeks.
Let us know any more predictions for the game. I'm going to go. I was actually, I believe I was spot on with the result, the Dortmund result at home, but I said 2 each. I was way off of the away game right enough, but I'm pretty sure I was pretty on point with the home game. For Thursday night, I'm going to go. I think it's going to be tight. I'm going to go for 1-0 to Rangers. Right,
so I'll put a prediction in as well. I'll go 2-1. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be a close game.
Aye, if you're going to the game, if you're travelling up, let us know where you're travelling from. Let us know what supporters club you're on, whatever. There's a possibility we could do a show either before or after the game on Thursday night.
Somebody actually asked us if we're going to do the Thursday night shows again. What were they? Trying to mind, I've got worse memory.
Yeah. Well, you're in charge of the Gers TV, so
I know.
If anyone's going to know what we do, I think what we've done is we've done a few reaction shows after some games.
We'll do one on Thursday night. Aye.
We can do one on Thursday night, maybe it just depends. It is a late kick off, 8 o'clock, so just depends. Obviously, we've got to travel to the game. We've got to get back to back to our houses,
Yeah.
back to the Gers TV studio, etc.
But
as
we
well.
could maybe do one for the
Aye, if we're going
hotel.
out, aye, so what we can do is, if we'll usually, obviously we're going to games as well, so maybe do a live broadcast for 15 minutes, half an hour or something, just for fans' reaction.
100%. Aye.
I want to read this.
Aye, that's a good call.
I want to read Scott's. I think,
You want me to read it?
this. No, I can read it. Because
sure?
I was also going to see, I actually read Dick Campbell's column this morning in the Metro, and he was talking about it. So Scott Ferguson is saying, what do you reckon to Arbroath coming into the SPFL next season? The post-match interviews should be entertaining. At least they would be promoted without the need for a phone call if they make it, or a last-minute email, or a missing email. Hopefully Kelly stayed down. The amount of money Rangers put into these clubs on their journey back, which is sustaining a lot of these clubs even now. Rangers to win 2-0 on Thursday. So I think, Scott, to bring up, Arbroath, just obviously, Arbroath are top of the championship. I believe they're something like 5 points clear at the moment. They just beat. They won last Saturday. I think they beat Inverness last Saturday. Or they beat Dunfermline last
They've
Saturday.
got great support now as well, and the support's really backing them in the tune.
They're part-time. Dick Campbell is one of these guys who's managed probably almost every lower league club in Scotland over the last 20 years. But
Something I didn't know, only noticed this 2 weeks ago. I watched I watched a wee interview. His twin brother's assistant manager.
yeah, he's doing. He's doing that. They're doing an absolutely fantastic job. They've went, Arbroath were always kind of, up until a couple of seasons ago, Arbroath were not laughing stocks of Scottish football, but in the lower leagues they got promoted. They kept themselves in the championship, and there's a lot of I wouldn't say big clubs, but there are certainly bigger clubs in the championships like Thistle, Inverness, Kilmarnock.
They're showing the way.
And Arbroath
I would
have
love to
done
see them
really
come
well.
up. And it's as much as it's probably one of the coldest grounds in Scottish football, it's not a bad wee trip. It's not a bad wee trip up there. There's a wee pub, a Fisherman's Tavern, I think it's called, I normally go to.
It just goes to show that it's not all about money sometimes, but hopefully it's an inspiration for Rangers in the Europa League.
They put a bit of fun into football again, I think, and the fans are enjoying it. And sometimes the one thing I love about football, you should also have a dream. People say you can't win this, the wee teams can't do this, and some teams can't win tournaments or whatever. And sometimes they get proven wrong, and that's what football's all about. When you lose your dream, you lose it. That's why it's not about money. It's always about the passion and the support.
I suppose an equivalent would be a few years ago when Blackpool got promoted to the Premiership. Blackpool were never the kind of biggest clubs, but they kind of had a small stadium, decent team. But then they brought in Ian Holloway, who was a bit of an extroverted manager and similar with passion to Dick Campbell. And his interviews were always fun. So again, it's something different, something entertaining, and who knows? I genuinely, I read Dick Campbell's comments this morning in the paper, and you can just tell that he's loving his job, loving life.
He's a passionate guy.
Passionate guy, but passionate about football, and he also runs a training and development company to help young people out as well. So he's obviously quite a top guy.
Marion says
best of luck.
Marion, you're saying you lost the picture. Is it just you? Because we're definitely still on. I'll check something for a second.
Okay, so for some results. So all the saying 2-0 Rangers. Only 4 home nations saying 2-0 Rangers as well. 1-1 on Thursday for David Ainsworth. And Scott Ferguson did say at the end of his comment 2-0 Rangers. So the common theme is 2-0 Rangers. We would absolutely love that to be the case. But again, the thing about having a game that's 2-0, 2-0 is not safe enough to think you're definitely qualified, but it's safe enough.
You still take it.
You still take it, but it's safe enough for you to sit back and invite pressure, and then you usually lose the first goal. But I think that any kind of win, any kind of win, and a European form, as much as an away form, in the league hasn't been great under Gio, as much as the home form has looked a bit shaky. You remember, we've had great results against Lyon away. We've had a great result against Sparta Prague at home to get us through, and we've had a great result against Dortmund
in general,
as well.
the European performances the last couple since we came back up have been fantastic.
Yep.
Listen, we're the team to beat. It's as simple as that. We're the team to beat. We might not go all the way to Seville, but I'll tell you what a kick in the stones that would be to that lot if the Bears go all the way to the final. I'll tell you that would make me a very happy man.
And ironically enough, the final was in Seville.
Aye, that's what I'm saying. If they got a bit of Seville, aye. What a kick in the
I
stones
think
would be.
the Gers TV would be doing a live show from Seville, I'm sure.
I'd hire a buffet soccer to do that for a week.
Yep.
But, you'd certainly find that the Seville calculator, the infamous Seville calculator, would be thrown in the bin.
Yeah.
The support that we would take over is second to none. I know it's only a dream, guys, but listen, we like to have a laugh, a joke. We tell it how it is. It's a Gers TV. We don't always agree with everything, and we don't always tell you what you want to hear. We just tell you our opinion, and we hopefully represent the fans as much as we can over issues that the club might not want to back the fans on. As a wee reminder, guys, that a lot of supporters clubs are now joining the Rangers Supporters Association to give the supporters clubs more power and to give the fans a voice. I personally back that, and if you're a member of a club, you might want to consider it. Anything else?
No, we've covered quite a lot tonight. We might do a wee show on Thursday after the game. Again, we always say win, lose or draw, so it doesn't really depend on the result. But I think it's probably I covered everything we want to talk about tonight. Thanks very much for your company, guys. Some great comments. Again, a lot of new people watching the show. A lot of regulars keeping in touch with us. So thanks very, very much for your support.
And we've came to you courtesy of AG Roofing and Cladding. I'm always going to say a cladding word. Cladding, I'm going to say that word.
Aye, so thanks so much for your support, the guys over at AG there. Absolutely fantastic, much appreciated. And hopefully, what needs any roofing done or cladding done, go and see AG.
AG Roofing and Cladding, good Rangers people.
Because they will sort you out.
I don't know about sort you out, that sounds if I go to threaten them.
They will sort you out for all your roofing and cladding needs.
There you go, perfect. Thanks to our sponsors, thanks to everybody that watches the Gers TV. Do us a wee favour, just if you just send one like each, that helps us get our word out there a wee bit better for us. Guys, a big thanks to all the people that have watched the show in the last couple of months.
Absolutely.
And bring it on, Rangers, bring it on. It's been a roller coaster season, but you know what? It's the Glasgow Rangers story.
We're getting to the closing stages where prizes are decided, so
keep on keeping on. We are the people.
Good night.